it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Hutter. Gotta go
No,
lefty.
we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Welcome back to all of our friends and our guests.
What's up, Boston? How's it going?
I have returned.
Why did you?
He is back.
Why did you go past me?
What do you mean?
I was saying welcome to all of our people,
Yeah, but I already introduced you.
and I was saying welcome to people, and you jumped over me. That's rude.
What's up, Papa Haines? He's in the chat tonight.
Also, if anybody's
Pizza Wings. Uh-oh.
Pizza Wings.
Shots fired.
Pizza Wings has been hot, shooting shots across the bow.
right out of the deep fryer.
I would say right out of the oven.
Well, he's pizza wings.
Wings, fair enough. All right, out of the oven and deep fryer. I got you.
Did you deep fry pizza? You could.
Why not, right?
You could. You could totally do the outside of the crust,
Yeah.
and then it would probably
I
melt.
mean,
on
I
the
think
inside.
you could probably just take a day-old sliced pizza and throw it in a deep fryer.
Oh.
That sounds disgusting.
Or you take the day old slice
You
of
don't
pizza.
like day-old pizza?
Listen.
What is wrong with you guys?
Listen.
Can't say day old.
Dip it
Day
in
old.
day old slice of pizza. Dip it in batter and then put it in the deep fryer. That's amazing sounding.
That might be overkill for me.
Nope.
There's already
Nope.
enough dough in pizza. You don't need the extra breading.
Ranch is disgusting. Pizza wings. It's
You're-
blue cheese all the way.
You're disgusting, Kyle.
Neither.
Ranch is for children.
Well, I'm a child.
I know.
I gotta be honest, dipping in anything is for children.
Wow. All right, guys. On tonight's episode, we're talking more about the new blue because Anthony got his in hand. He's thrown it. So we're going to get an actual feedback about the new blue. Storm announced their version, which is the IQ 78.
Kyle, get it right. The new blue is not urethane.
I know. I'm saying the PBA
And
compliant stuff.
The PBA compliant urethane ball. They're not the same thing, Kyle. It's urethane.
I get it.
Not.
I get it. But
Get it freaking
they
right.
both have announced their
Their
reaction
first
to the PBA rule,
coming of the bowling balls. I
Right.
assume there will be more.
which is Storm's IQ 78U, which means
Pretty cool looking.
78 hardness.
It'll go to 72. Just ask Chris.
So we're gonna talk about that and compare them. And I had an opinion about how well they're going to do in the marketplace, and so we're gonna talk about whether or not they're going to be the biggest flops in bowling ball history as far as sales go, and maybe talk about some of the old timer flops that nobody liked.
Michael.
Before we get into it, though, don't forget to comment to us during the show. Thanks, guys, that are already here. And you guys can chat with us during the whole show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel, and email us anytime at downlanepod@gmail.com. All right. So, how's everybody's week this week?
Are you going to skip over me, or you want to go to Austin first? Want me to start talking then skip
Are
over
you
me?
cranky today? What made you so cranky? All this ball plug that you got to be working on in the shop?
Yeah, I've gone through a lot of ball plugs. Thanks to me and Nick Harris and now Kyle Haines.
That's right.
This week, I don't know. I'm throwing new blue, so I don't really know. Just throwing it, haven't got on a sports shot because I've been busy. Kyle knows I was cooking all last night, so we didn't get what we wanted to get. It's my fault, people. I'm not bringing you the content that I promised. So I will be better.
Promise is broken.
I will work on it. I've been bowling. I don't know. I'm bowling pretty good. I'm throwing it good. I'm just trying to throw this new blue hammer. That's all I've been throwing. Just trying to see what happens.
Austin,
Got to
how
get it a
about
little
you?
softer.
Oh.
Sorry.
The ball, you mean?
Yeah.
Got to come down on some points. Austin, what's up? How'd it go this week? Did you bowl after you were sick on Thursday?
I did bowl. After Thursday. Okay, too. Okay. The first week here that I did not have a game under 200.
Wow.
Kyle's still searching for that.
Definitely
Yeah.
spare related.
I barely shot. I think, did I break 800 last week? I think I did.
I think you said you did.
I think
I've
I
been
shot
shooting
low
steady
8.
920s every week.
Yeah, so I Thursday night they were really tight due to plastic ball usage in the league prior.
Must have been on the
And-
high end.
Yep. I played to the right for 2 games and could not score over 210 and instantly moved in and shot 260.
Nice.
I think I threw purple reactive last week.
You did?
In waiting for the blue.
You did throw purple.
Yep, I did. I shot like 910 or 915 or something.
Nice.
And then that way I could kind of have a gauge on blue hammer to resin.
How
How do you do, Kyle?
I tried my longer grip stuff. Wasn't bad, but didn't score well. Except for 1 250 game.
First game.
But still managed to only shoot like a 810 or something.
I think your partner has been on fire. He is now a house rat.
Oh yeah, big
Yeah,
time.
you better step it up, Kyle.
Dude,
Nick-
I told him I'm failing him big time.
Nick Practice Swing Harris is now a house rat. He has his own nickname
2 300s in 1 week?
and an 800, 832. He also got a new grip.
Must be
and,
nice to have his grip figured out.
Let's get him on 11.
I've been
12.
telling you what to do. 11, 12 is a great pair. I shot
What's wrong with
990.
11 and 12?
People don't like 11, 12. A lot
Really?
of 710s, I guess.
I cannot get the corner pins out on 11.
That is a great pair.
Artie asked me tonight. He said, Art Hoffman, he said, is 11 and 12 a little tighter? I said, well, it follows the men's league, so it's usually more hooking. But I can't tell you 11 and 12 compared to any other pair in the house being any different.
I usually just did I bake muffins, Zachary? No. I actually was baking cupcakes. But anyways, no, 11 and 12, they're all pretty close for me. I know I'm on the left, but I just kind of get up there and throw it. There's hook left, hold right. I don't know. I mean, I'm left-handed.
Yeah, I know. You got it easy. LIW.
I look at 3 every week, and
Left is wild.
yeah, I look at 3 every week, and when I go to other bowling alleys, I look at 3, and when I bowl in sport shots, I look at 3, and then I just use the purple hammer.
Jerk. We got
I'm gonna be honest, Kyle. We could technically do it if we put our head to it.
You
What's
could
that?
We
throw it
could
at 3.
also look at 3.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
you
guess.
guys.
Except
Didn't
it
look
goes
easy
into the
on
If I
sand.
want to
Tuesday.
do that,
It goes
though,
into the
I
sand
need-
trap and never hooks.
I need another
Or overhooks.
2 mile an hour though.
No, I don't think they were Zachary. They didn't look
What's up,
easy.
Zach?
Yeah, they weren't bad on Tuesday. I just didn't bowl good, but that's okay. I don't get mad.
But you did use the new blue.
Yeah, I think I
On
shot
Tuesday.
680.
Nice.
680. Which that's fine for me. That's enough. That's all I need. 640 is good for 3.
This weekend we got the tournament club. What are we bowling on?
Early Anthony 43.
43 feet, early Anthony. What's the ratio on that? I don't remember.
2.5 to 1, 31 milliliters of oil, and
that's
it's 43 feet down lane.
Oof.
Yeah, it is a tougher pattern for the lefties. And Tyler, so do I. Trust me. I
Ball
like
never sees 3.
Never ever. Yeah, so that we're trying to follow the regional schedule.
We got a lot of bowlers that go there.
Mm,
Or a few bowlers.
We have a few guys who go there, but I think it's also kind of an interesting format because guys can see how they stack up versus the guys bowling at the regionals. Now it's not the same lane surface, but you're getting the same pattern. So it is kind of a nice thing to follow. I think I don't know if our next one, do we have one in November, Kyle?
I'm pretty sure we have one in November, not December. And then
Yeah, not
January.
December. We do in January 7th. It's like the second week of January. But November will be interesting to pick one because January, in theory, we would probably do the RPI pattern because
That'd be fun.
it would follow the schedule. So we'll have to see if there's any more events after East Providence, just to kind of see, what pattern we should use for then, or if we have to pick something else, to find something else. I don't know if there's any PBA events. Maybe we can find a PBA event.
Well, yeah, the Players Championship
is in November.
Oh, you were talking about November. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying later on in the season. But the PBA schedule doesn't start until January. So that's when
Here we go. We do have one in December.
Stops.
Oh, we have one in November too. And we can use that. That's going to be on Billy Hardwick, which is 44 feet.
That's the one you're going to, right?
No, No. That's in Maryland. That would be the
Oh.
November regional schedule.
Yeah.
Would be Billy Hardwick, unless you wanted to use the one in December, because the other one's not a true regional. It's like a challenge. Rick Steelsmith, whoever the heck that
Ooh,
is.
you don't- Jeez, man, come on, Rick Steelsmith, let's go.
Where do you want to
Anyway, you're terrible.
Why are
So
you
anyway,
mad
yeah,
at me?
we've got almost 25 players for this weekend. We're doing a drop your low game, which is a little fun. So you get to throw away a game if you weren't bowling too good.
go? Don't throw away your first game.
And then in the finals, if you make the finals or match play, then it's a 2-game set, drop your low game again. And then that determines the 4-man step ladder.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I
And
think-
pins carry over.
I think it's nice because it gives everybody a chance to have a bad game.
Gives
Yeah.
my first game 170. Take that out of there, you know.
It'll give everybody a nice buffer. They don't have to stress about it, and if they can really whack them for 3 games, they'll be in. They can have that one game where they can test out the waters.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, so let's.
that's going to be really hard to do on that per game. You know,
I'm sorry, are you whining about it, or
I'm just saying.
you said you had a spreadsheet ready for it?
I do. I think I got to double check, but it's still going to be tough because the first 3 games are going to be it, but the 4th game, the cut could be substantially different because everybody could throw.
Oh,
that
you're talking
game
about
out.
telling people what the current
Yeah, they
cut
don't know what
is.
the pace would
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
It'd be tough.
You might be better off to just
Not do it.
Right.
We're not
Um,
sure what it is, but wait till the end and we'll tell you.
people might freak out.
We are
when they
giving
get that
away-
70-pin swing.
Yeah,
We
right.
are giving one ball away.
I don't know. You tell me. How many did we get?
We have 2 right now in the shop, but I don't know because we're doing 6 events. We can't do 2 every
Right.
event.
Yeah, sure.
So this one could be the one.
Well, if this is a little low on attendance, then we can do 1.
Okay.
And then a bigger attendance one, we can do 2.
That's cool.
All right. All right. So let's talk about the new blue and the IQ 78U, which is the newly announced urethane ball from Storm. New blue we talked about last week, but we want to talk a
I'm
little.
tired. Holy crap.
But we want to.
I was looking. I was like, "Geez, it looks terrible."
Oh my god. So we want to.
Artie, we're taking it home, Artie, against the righties. Screw the righties.
We want to maybe talk a little comparison. There's some videos out there of the IQ. There's obviously a bunch of videos now with all the staffers that got their new blue.
Been some big scores already with the blue ball.
Yeah, I mean Chapman shot at 300 in his league.
It was like 850 from Jalen Mosley, I think his name is. 850, 279, 277, 300.
So I'm curious to know because my thought is the bowling ball companies are developing these bowling balls specifically to meet the 78 hardness criteria, or in the blue ball
73.
doesn't need to be exactly 78, right? Because it's not urethane, so they say. Well, it has to be not urethane, so it's reactive.
No,
but
it's not urethane, Kyle.
I know. So I just said it's reactive.
No, it's not urethane. That's what it's called. It's called not urethane.
I get it. So
That was actually a talking point of the seminar. It's not urethane.
that
Like
must have
because
been an
people asked,
exciting
and
seminar.
they're like, no, it's pizza wings. Jesus. The seminar. At the seminar, they specifically said no, it's not urethane. It's a different cover technology. So I guess basically, basically that's what they said. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I was watching Ron Hicklin's posts, and he said if it's not urethane, it's reactive, plain and simple.
Well, what about the motive balls?
Microcell
Anti-micro-
polymer, dude. That's
So is
way
that
over
resin?
my head. It's microcell polymer, is what it says. It's got to be an additive. I mean, it seems like he's pretty convinced that like if it's not urethane, it's reactive resin. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer to reactive than urethane, but
all right. So anyway, my point was, you got these companies creating these bowling balls specifically for the PBA rule change. Do you think? Because I think it's possible that the balls that they're replacing, the Purple Hammer and the Pitch Black, those are so popular in the
don't
market.
forget the attitude control,
Yeah, that.
the
Come
double
on.
cross.
Come on.
What?
Who uses these balls other than you?
It's a great question. I don't know, but I'm pretty good with all 3 of them.
Yeah, but you end up never actually using those for an extended period of time. It's always the purple. The purple will be
Well, yeah,
in
I
your
mean,
hand all day long.
well, it
and the
depends.
attitude control and the double cross, so it's like, I throw it for a game, I get some strikes, it could be better.
The double cross
doesn't do the same
was
thing.
a stronger version of it, and it actually wasn't a terrible ball reaction for me. It was better. It was a little stronger. I did have a short pin one, and I don't know where I put that. Anyways, so then they have the attitude control, which is a bigger core, and that one is also, I like that one. It's pinned down. It rolls good. Of course, I go back to purple, but I mean, both were good options for stronger pieces when you need a little bit more than the purple, and both have the purple cover stock on it.
Right.
So
but
it's like
didn't seem to
they weren't
really
popular.
score as well as purple, because you can make those slight changes with surface changes.
Sure,
as well.
I think that's debatable, but I preferred the higher flaring stuff when they were a little bit more volume and the
Right.
surface was a little harder. And what I mean by surface is lane beds.
Well, yeah, the lane surface.
You know, when you go to nationals, I did bring an attitude control one year, and I actually used it in doubles and singles, because my purple wasn't enough. And did I bowl great? I think I shot like 620, and then I went to reactive and shot like 640, and then 620, and then so I had 640 with urethane. So I think it was just more niche of a ball, and I just think you had to know how to use it. So I don't necessarily think they were bad. I just think players were just so regularly using the purple, and they bowl in all the Bolero centers on the PBA, so the fronts hook more, so they didn't need those types of cores. Look at the Black Widow pink urethane. We were talking about flops today, and that was probably, for me, maybe it wasn't a flop because I kind of knew what it was going to be, but maybe for other people it was a flop, because the only time that ball was good is when they hand oiled the lanes 50 milliliters. Which was once, and I freaking switched to it out of the purple, and I whacked them at the state Masters 2 years ago. So,
all right, so
sorry,
back to my point. Yeah, so basically,
by the way, those are 73 hardness. Just so you.
Yes, they're illegal on the PBA tour.
Well, they are now, but
Yes.
they were 73.
So the PBA created this 78 hardness rule for the urethane, right? That is the only place, unless some tournament has a crazy rule, like they're going to follow the PBA, some local tournament, you know what I mean? But that is the only place that it's required to use a 78 hardness urethane. So what they're doing is they're forcing these companies.
The PBA juniors as well.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you said the PBA,
yes,
but
PBA,
people don't know
PBA
that it's PBA
affiliated,
national, PBA
right.
regional, PBA senior 50, PBA junior, anything LBCs or
Right. Yeah.
the PBA, the league members that are registered through the Bolero cannot use Purple Hammer
In their leagues.
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yes, I read an article on it yesterday. If that article is true, you cannot use it in any LBC or any Bolero event, because if it's PBA, if it's Bolero,
PBA registered,
it's a PBA registered league.
Well, that I didn't know.
I will sit here while you chat to yourself and your
All right,
friends.
so
And
back
I'll
to my
see if I can find
original
it.
point was that
I'm gonna look for it.
Except for those few leagues, I'm sure there's not that many.
Oh wait, the PBA
they have
junior,
to follow the PBA rules.
They won't have to, actually. The PBA juniors.
Here we go.
Sorry.
Can we get some actual information from you?
But okay, it says they don't. Look, the email says the PBA junior affiliates will not need to adhere to the new PBA rule. But then on the junior amateur tour, just a reminder, all PBA competitions, league, junior, regional, senior, national, will all have a ban. Will have a ban on all under 78 hardness urethane like balls. So there is a ton of misinformation out there that clearly I don't even know.
Right.
Which is fine, because I mean, we're not PBA here.
Okay. Let me just start and finish this point.
It's a long point. You haven't.
I haven't even gotten to it yet.
Oh, all right.
Something new, huh?
So the PBA creates the rule. The companies are forced to create a bowling ball specifically for this PBA rule. Now, 99, 98% of the bowlers in America or in the world do not bowl in PBA events, right? So when you can use the original ball that everyone likes, purple or pitch black or pitch whatever, then why would you even, and you don't bowl PBA, why would you even care to purchase one of these things that are not like it?
I actually have a point. I was talking to a gentleman today, and he's like, "Hey, I usually drill all my balls to go long and snap hard." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what you always ask me to do, so I always try to do it." He goes, "But I don't want that anymore." And he's like, "What about urethane?" And I was like, "Don't do that." I was kind of like, the transition, all that stuff. I said, "Well, there is a new ball coming out that is the Blue Hammer." And I was like, "It's not urethane, so it's a little bit longer, but players, I shouldn't say older style players, would try to be a little bit more, who want a little more rounded ball shape. That's the ball you're going to get."
Yeah.
And the thing that I like about the Blue Hammer is I've used it 2 or 3 times now, exclusively in league. Like, I just don't even grab another ball because I don't care enough. And I grab that ball, and it doesn't typically transition the lane as much and or as negatively as a Purple Hammer would.
Right.
So guys who are looking for that, yes, I want a ball that kind of reacts similar to urethane because everything else hooks too much now because all the bowling balls are super strong. This is actually kind of bringing me, I know I wasn't that old, but this type of a ball reaction is giving me more of the yesteryear, early 2000s, late 1990s ball reaction when all the scores were probably the highest they ever were, was around that time. I don't think the scores are higher now. I think they were higher back then. And I think that this ball, because it doesn't use as much energy and it's not so strong down lane, will actually be more of a positive, not a house shot ball, but a positive piece of equipment for people who bowl leagues if they're slower and want something that's steadier like urethane.
Right.
That's what I think, because now we don't have to drill them short pins, in my opinion. If I get a guy who comes in, can't keep it on the right side of the lane, and he wants a short pin, yeah, that's a great option. But now I can drill this ball that has urethane-like tendencies and give him a ball that doesn't transition the lane so negatively, and it's not as down lane as even a short pin reactive ball. Now we've got a piece of equipment that might help. I think only about 10% of people in the world really need this ball, but I think it could also help if it's used properly and if it's drilled properly for the other people.
So I think you're making my point, because you just said
10%
of the market
could have one,
will only want it or need it.
I don't think
the
it's
other
just
90%
right.
won't buy it, or they'll.
I don't think that's true though. They will buy it because
it's on this TV.
But
again, my point is, if you could choose between purple or blue, or in a more extreme case, IQ versus pitch black.
You want to pick those, but
yeah,
I mean,
well, why would anyone, if you could just use the OG, then why wouldn't you use the OG?
Well, I wouldn't want
because they're still making both.
Sure, I wouldn't want to. If my league bowler comes in, I don't want to sell him a Purple Hammer ever.
Well, right, for the leagues, right.
For the league play. I know it's a great seller, it's a great ball, but I don't want, because we oil the lane specifically, you don't need that ball for this type of lane condition. Now, if they really want it, fine, I'll get it for you. I try to get stuff that's not going to impact the lane as much as urethane does for those people, because they don't deal well with transition. This blue one, I feel like, doesn't do that, and it gives you urethane-like roll. So like I said, the top 10% of the field of bowlers, tournament players, will probably want a reaction like this. I'm saying that I see it being even more of a positive effect on the people who bowl leagues, but I see it in a different aspect where some people might say, oh, only those guys need it. Sure, they might need it, but the guys who want urethane-like roll now have more of an option without me saying, don't buy the Purple Hammer because you're going to screw your lineup, because you're not going to really understand how to adjust. You want ball X or a short pin Summit. Now I can just say you want a Blue Hammer. It's going to change the game, I think, for both ends of the spectrum. I don't think people realize that or think that. That is my opinion after throwing this ball.
But how many BTUs, or I'll even say like UC3s, which that was, it was not really urethane, but it was.
How many did I sell? Well, here's the thing with the
how many of those did you recommend to people, or did people use? So, I mean, UC3 was kind of popular, but
UC3 was popular for a little bit, but it wasn't nearly as popular as the BTU line was. The BTU line actually was more popular to like the average league player, because it actually was exactly what kind of, I'm not going to say what the blue is. I think the blue is a little different, but those balls, I think, were also popular for league players because it gave them the same kind of option as the blue. I think the blue is just a little bit better.
Right.
But we actually sold quite a bit of those BTUs.
Yeah.
Now, not quite a bit, maybe 8, 9 because we're a small shop, but quite a few. That's quite a bit for a ball of that niche.
Right.
That niche of a bag.
Right.
Like, yeah, you want a ball that hooks but not crazy amount. That's the ball you go with. I think the blue's going to fit in with that, and I think your tournament players. We're going to talk about it later. I think that's also going to fit into the tournament players bag as an option. You might see it as a flop, but I don't know you because you always think things are flops. So I'm just assuming you're taking
It's
that.
not true.
I think that I can give opinions on the IQU and the Blue Hammer, and I will give my opinion on both, but I don't think either will be a flop. Because I think your idea of flop and my idea of flop are different because we never came with a common.
Yeah, my version of flop is the market going to buy it? So if it's yes or no, or if there's a big sale and then not sale, but if there's a big time where it's being sold a lot and then all of a sudden drops off, then you know that it's not a popular ball.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, so I guess I can understand that.
What's up, Dougie?
I believe that you're probably going to be right. First of all, the IQU. I mean, if you're going to throw urethane, you're not on staff. You're throwing a purple hammer.
Right.
You're not throwing a pitch black. Usually.
I mean, the guys who throw pitch blacks wish they had purple hammers.
Most of them do. I don't know. I don't think you're gonna. I don't know. I just think it's kind of a wash at this point. I think USBC will probably do something to kind of mimic the PBA, so that way there's 2 regular rules. Well, that way it's more regular than anything.
That was going to be my next point. Was
sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, that's fine. It's that the USBC and the PBA need to come up with some sort of either agreement, or the USBC needs to update their rules so that there's not this PBA ball and league ball or whatever. You know what I mean? So like, again, like I don't know that I foresee. Maybe I'll get a blue just because I want to, and the same thing with the IQ. Like, if, just to have fun and test it out, which is an expensive test.
Expensive fun test.
Right, but if I was just bowling in league, I don't see why or bowling local tournaments only and never bowling in the PBA, which most of the scratch players
don't bowl in the PBA.
Right. Maybe if a regional comes to town, we look at the last regional that was up here. Maybe a handful of guys, dozen guys.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you're going to have a handful of guys.
But, okay, so what I'm saying is if I don't have a reason, whereas meaning the USBC also has a rule of the same standard, then why would I buy this ball that I would prefer to just use a purple hammer?
Yeah, I agree. When we go to nationals, I'll probably just bring my purple hammer anyways.
Exactly my point. When you
I was thinking about
to
today.
The USBC's national tournament, and you have the choice of, because we have 6 balls that we bring, right? You can bring 8, but we usually only bring 6. So
usually I bring a clamshell bag. It's become a purple in it.
Purple only. Well, for you, maybe you can just bring a 2-ball tote of purple and blue.
I probably could. I could probably bring a 3-ball bag, purple, blue, and plastic.
Oh, that's right. You got a plastic spare ball now.
Yeah, I got rid of the rule. The rules are changing too much for me, so I figured they can't outlaw plastic, can they?
Well, not at like 85 hardness. Or
just saying. Hey, you never know. I mean, I don't know.
But I guess that's
get away from the rule.
I don't need to use the purple for a spare ball, but I do use it.
Yeah, but now if you go to a regional, it's 2 years old.
Yes,
you got to get rid of it anyways.
It's 2 years old and it's illegal.
Yeah.
So is the plastic ball.
Yeah, but okay.
So now you got to buy a new plastic ball every 2 years.
Yeah, sure, but at least just buying a plastic ball is different than.
I know.
Well, what's the rule next year? Well, next year you got to use 1978 equipment, and then this year you can use. You got to get a rubber Manhattan. And then maybe next year we'll make it different. We'll put square balls in there and see if they hook. You know what I mean?
So that's my point. Is
stupid.
The USBC and the PBA need to get on the same page. Stop complaining not complaining, but fighting against one another.
Are we talking about the biggest ball flops instead of those two?
Yeah, I'm just saying this. This is all part of it because the PBA is forcing companies to create lines of equipment just for their tournaments.
I mean, I still think that this blue hammer can be used for other things. I think it will be more widely sold or more popular than you think.
What was that word?
Widely.
Nope, the other one. Sold?
Sold? Sorry, my brain's not working too fast.
That's things my 5-year-old says.
We are best friends.
So
I think that you're going to see it be more popular because I think it will match more people's games. And I mean, we can get to the blue in a second. What I think of it and my take on it
Yeah, go ahead. Before we get to the biggest flops in bowling ball history.
Yeah, I mean,
Which, by the way, guys, I want to. If you guys have any ideas of some of the old equipment that was, in your opinion, absolute garbage,
the mutant cell.
go ahead and put them in the chat because we're going to talk about some big flops from the old days. So anyway, go ahead. How's the blue working?
Blue is interesting. So, I mean, we haven't got on a sport shot yet. I haven't been able to surface up because Kyle yells at me. It's got to be box finish to make sure that.
Why this is a problem. If people want to see the actual difference between purple and blue, they need to be boxed.
No, they need to be 500.
That doesn't make any
sense.
sense.
The surface has to be the same across the board.
No.
Then what's the point? Anyways,
because
whatever.
They want to know because most people aren't going to surface their stuff.
Or because they're going to take it out of the box and throw it down the lane and they're going to go, this doesn't do anything like the purple at all.
So the first thing that I see with it, do I have any videos? No. Trying to think if I took any myself. So the blue for me, originally out of the box, before I hit it with 360, just kidding. In practice, it comes out of the box at 1,000. So I went pretty straight up the lane because I expected it to kind of be urethane like, and the ball revved up in the mid lane, except I'm pretty sure I took off like the 11 pin.
Let me just address Pizza Wing's comment. So part of the comparison is going to be, however, that it'll be out of the box compared to the purple, and then surface it up to make it how you think it should be, make it close to the purple, such as 500.
Yeah, so we'll do both tests, I guess, just to make Kyle happy. Whatever.
And the people are who need to be happy.
Okay, so anyways, when I got straighter up this lane, when I first started with it, I saw some urethane tendencies, a lot of mid lane traction, really revved up. The ball did kind of go closer towards the 12 pin because the 11 would be over there, the 12 would be over there. It hooked a lot more than expected. So I said, okay, first shot with it. If it's like urethane, it's going to hook that much because it doesn't have any oil on it. I do have some information that I can spew after I explain this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So then I moved in a little bit, started to play it, went really straight in the oil. And when I threw it left, it revved up like a urethane ball in the mid lane. Didn't let me it wouldn't let me get further outside because it slowed down so much faster. Just like the urethane versus the resin. So then I started to play with it a little bit. The amount of hook is probably, I wouldn't say it's as much as a purple hammer on the first shot, but it is more like a first shot purple hammer on every shot. So
every shot, right? It doesn't really start to
it doesn't get the oil
longer,
soaked and kind of tame. It doesn't mellow as much, but the ball reaction is mellow. It already is mellow. So the ball doesn't really come off it. It's a very strong shape. If I got straight with it on the house shot, of course, there's not enough oil. So it does rev up in the mid lane like urethane. It continues better. And when I move in, I actually am able to move in with it and play in the oil more because it's probably breaking in now. Maybe it's at like 75 hardness. I don't know. But it does.
It does not go down.
Oh, wait, no, that's right.
It does not. Only has to be 73.
That's right. So anyways,
it's not
I can move in with it. And I can throw it to the gutter. It picks up like urethane. But the biggest thing I see is that the ball continues a little bit better than the urethane ball, and it doesn't go away.
Yeah, but is it better?
I didn't say if it was better or not yet.
You just said it was better, which is better than the purple.
No, it's better when I moved in and threw it left.
Right.
The urethane ball will hook early when I miss left.
And
straighten out. This one has a continuous C motion, continuous hooking motion through the pins. And I see that through all parts of the lane. While when I get with urethane,
can't move in.
I mean, I can get slightly, in a little bit, but I can't get to where I get with the blue. There's a wall.
A wall for moving in with purple.
Yes, I can.
Unless you're freaking Jesper, we're using a pitch black.
Yeah. So the purple ball definitely straightens out more down lane. They are similar in motion and how they adhere to the mid lane. But the motion, the purple balls roll a little more forward, while the blue ball rolls a little more continuous throughout the entire lane. So I get more consistent ball reaction. Not consistent, because I guess the urethane, the purple, is still consistent, but I get more continuous ball reaction. And there's not that I got to throw one shot to get oil on it, because when you are in a tournament, that is extremely important. A lot of people don't think about that. That's something that's always in the back of my head. When I am bowling, I need to have both balls have to have at least one shot down the lane. I don't even care if I throw it.
Right.
I just got to get
Right,
oil
gotta
on
get
the
oil
cover.
on it. Yeah.
This blue one isn't going to have that. It's going to come out and it's going to be more consistent on every shot.
So now talk about the cover then, that the information that you learned about the oil and absorption and all that
so
good
anyways,
stuff.
and this ball doesn't lane shine really either. I do have it. It's got about 6-7 games on it. I have cleaned it because I wanted to see, because when you try to clean urethane, nothing happens, right? You just sand the nuts off of it.
Yeah.
360, 500.
Sand it every time. Lost a quarter of an inch in surface, but
still strikes.
Surface down. Yeah.
Hence why they give you so much cover. This blue one cleans a little more like the resin. Now there is plasticizer in this ball, which there isn't in the purple urethane, if I understood correctly from what I was learning. The blue ball has
you went to a seminar on Monday.
Yes. So anyways, the PBA rule for, I don't know if they really announced it or people really read it. From what I was told, the PBA rule is a resin ball is a ball that absorbs all the oil, absorbs basically all the oil off the cover of the ball in 45 minutes or less. That is what classifies a resin ball. Okay. What classifies as urethane is balls that absorb after 45 minutes or don't absorb after 45 minutes. And I'm hoping I got that right, because that's basically very close to word for word what they use. And I'm hoping I'm right. That's what's classified. It classifies the bowling balls, which seems a little ridiculous. I'm surprised they don't ask for formulas on it.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because what if by chance, and they gave you the information on this, but what if the cover of the blue keeps the oil on it and doesn't absorb it for 46 minutes?
So the weird thing is this ball, okay, so now we're going to get into like some weird crap I noticed. So not weird, but this is intended for the ball. So anyways, that's the two differences. So this ball does absorb oil.
Right.
But it absorbs it at a much slower rate
than a resin.
Yes, because it's not urethane.
So it is a resin, but compared to your typical resin bowling balls that absorb them, when the ball comes out of the ball return, the oil's almost gone already.
Right. If the absorption rate on a brand new ball is, let's just say 15 minutes for it to get soaked up into the ball. I don't know what the actual number is, but let's say, just for example for people, this ball would be 30, 40 minutes. It would take 40 minutes for it to go away as a
toe in the line.
I don't know if it is or not. They didn't give any information on that. That is just like an example for people to understand that the Game Breaker 2s, the Emerges, the Absolute balls, those balls get done absorbing oil after 15 minutes, let's say. Then this new blue hammer gets done after 30 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. While if you go to my purple hammer, if you throw the purple hammer and I throw my blue hammer and I put them in the bag and leave them, when I come back an hour later, or let's say the
tomorrow,
next day, my purple hammer still has the track. And I'm like, oh, look there, I can measure my access point. I don't need to throw a ball because it's right there.
Yeah.
The blue one will absorb it. So that's the difference.
I could not use my purple hammer for a week and it still has the track.
Yeah, it always did. So that is kind of the difference between the two. The blue is basically just something that absorbs at a slower rate. The purple is the purple. From what I understand and what I was told, the covers are, I guess, I don't really know. I guess they got to be pretty close in terms of formulation, because, I'm assuming they would be to get the same ball reaction, except one absorbs oil. And the reason that the blue ball absorbs oil at a slower rate is because they don't want the ball to absorb oil, basically because if they can keep it from not absorbing oil, when you wipe the ball off, you'll get more traditional urethane-like roll. Instead, if it absorbs it too quick, then it's going to grab the lane better, so it's not going to give you the same roll.
Mark Taylor, somebody posted a comparison between an Envy Tour, New Blue, and Purple. The Tour absorbed very quick, Blue was much slower, and Purple didn't change.
Yeah, that's basically what I see. Like when I go throw my ball, it comes back with all the track on it, and I came back after a few minutes and it was still there. Nothing was really absorbed. So the absorption rate is a lot slower. So what does that mean for the average player? I think that's going to be better, because slower absorption rate means the lanes aren't transitioned nearly as fast as long as you wipe them off. So the oil is going to stay there a little longer. And the ball should live longer because it's not absorbing as much oil.
Longer than a typical
resin ball. So in terms of the urethane, we'll have to see. Time will tell on that. I see urethane-like tendencies, but like I said, I haven't gotten a sport shot.
It's still cornering down lane.
It doesn't corner too heavily.
I'm saying compared to a purple.
anything is. But I think once I get it at 500 and I get on a pattern where there is actual volume out there, I do believe that I will see more purple-like motion than not. That's my take. I don't think this ball will be a flop. I think this ball is actually going to be more widely used than people think. I think the older players might be able to use it. I think the tour players are going to be able to use it. And to believe it or not, I think your average players who go bowl tournaments, this could be a nice ball to have because, like I said, the lanes aren't going to transition negatively for them more often than not. And this is going to give them a control of the back end. And especially with all the dry that we see now on the lanes, this ball is going to handle wet dry probably a little bit better, in my opinion, than some of the resin balls do, because it's going to try and roll early and it's going to get through the oil. But when you miss right, it's going to slow down and come off it a little slower.
So what you're thinking is it could be a good step in from the purple. So if you're using the purple up the boards and you find you hit the wall moving in,
right,
you could possibly do that or switch to the blue and go in there. Now, we thought the same thing with the purple reactive, but that might as well have been to me, in my opinion, that might as well have been just a regular old resin ball that almost like just a typical symmetrical resin. I mean,
for me, that ball was good because I used it at 500. I thought it was going to be the step out for urethane.
Right. That was my thought too. And it just hooked too much down lane.
Yeah. It definitely gives you a lot of pop down lane, even with a little bit of finish on it. So I think the blue is going to kind of be in the middle. If the purple's here and the reactive is here, let me bring the screen. Cal, take your phone. Put it like to your right.
Oh, well,
this is urethane.
There you go.
A little more to the left. No, other way, left. Right there. It's going to be a little bit about right there on the ball chart. Your reactive resin is here. It's hooking down lane. I think the blue is going to be a little stronger, but I do see the urethane
purple
tenants.
Reactive here.
Yeah, right. The two mics are the two different balls, and we should just do that. And Kyle's side is urethane. I think we're going to see it really close. I do, Mark, in terms of layout, I have all my purple reactive, my purple hammer, and my purple non-urethane, or my blue non-urethane ball, whatever it is, the new urethane. They're all the same layout. So when I do have shots on it, you guys will be able to tell exactly what the difference is. There is no difference in layout.
For you.
For me. So you will be able to get a pretty true read on what's going on. As long as I don't transition. I think I would probably, this is tough because I don't want to throw urethane too early to put the oil down lane. We haven't really gotten there. I'd have to warm up on a different lane and then try to do 3 shots over top. I think that's what I would do.
Oh, for
just to try to get as true as possible. You know what I mean? So that way I don't carry the oil down with purple, then go to blue. I could probably do a house shot video, and then I could go, as I'm warmed up, go to the sport shot video and get on the fresh where most of us are going to be using this blue and purple ball.
So flop number 1, purple reactive.
For you, flop number 1, I don't think it's going to be a flop.
No.
I don't think.
I'm saying the purple reactive was a flop. Flop number 1. We're calling that flop number 1.
That wasn't my flop.
Okay. For you. But again, we're talking about the market. How many people do you see out there using purple reactive? This is what I'm talking about. Just because it works well for you in this one situation ever doesn't mean that it works.
You know when that ball works well, believe it or not.
Mic problems outside.
Believe it or not, I use that purple reactive when the lanes are really torching the heads. I actually like it on long patterns too.
Well, that makes sense.
But again, it gives me similar reaction. But
you're talking again single situations that work well for you, whereas the purple can be used in a lot of spots.
I guess so.
Different patterns. All right, so
we'll see what happens.
But what about the IQ 78 real quick? So like that's 500 sanded. It's 78 hardness.
I can't wait for Brunswick to come out.
I've only seen one video.
What'd you think about
from
it?
Storm's site.
I did look at it. I had my own opinions.
You know, it looks like it's straighter than blue, but it still corners down lane, I think. And
looked like a corner to hard down lane.
And then I don't know how close of a comparison there'll be between IQ and New Blue, but the videos that I've seen, and again, you have no idea what people are bowling on because nobody ever says it, but like you've got guys like the ones that I saw was AJ Chapman. Who else?
You threw the blue.
Yeah, I'm saying who else threw
you're talking about
some blue shots because again, there's only the one video of the IQ.
I mean, we have a video of Wadka. We've got
Wadka, right? Yep.
Wadkas were almost dead close. They were like 2 boards. He was
something
2 boards.
Tells me he was doing a little trickery. You know,
dude, you can watch his ball roll, man. He was freaking pured out of both of those, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really too much different. But you know what? those guys, when they test them, they're all at the same surface.
The
blue and the purple were at the same
oh,
surface.
right, okay.
You know, why do they make it red so dumb? They could have. Yeah, I get what you're saying, pizza wings, but that IQ Ruby or that IQ urethane, believe it or not, was actually made overseas. So they probably took a very similar base and then they just made it a little bit harder.
Yep.
And they probably were testing it for a while. I do know that Brunswick said that this blue hammer was actually not in production, but it was being worked on in early February because of all the talking of the urethane going away. So
didn't Mr. Hicklin say that possibly colors, like different colors in the ball,
affect the cover?
Can affect the cover and how it hooks?
I don't know. You know what I do? I just put my fingers in it and throw it and see what happens. That's my testers.
But geez. But again, the other thing that I thought was interesting is the IQ had a 500 surface on it. So like, whereas the blue, you got 1,000, I can work that down, right? I can get it down to 500 or 360. But when you start the IQ at 500, you've only got maybe 360, or if you're bold, 180.
What about like 90 or something?
I mean, get, other than sandpaper, can you get?
Why not just roll around the parking lot?
Remember
your
when
dad's
I hit
got
that
it.
Freaking emerald vibe with like 180.
Dude, your dad's got like 60. I think he's watching. Artie, I'm pretty sure you told me a story where you hit like your ball with 90 grit at the Lilac and you crushed him. He was like, my ball hooked so early, I could make it hook from anywhere. I was like, that's awesome. I think he really had 90 grit.
He had another story about a tournament where he threw a 300 all crossovers.
No, come on.
Purpose. On purpose.
60 grit. 60 grit. That's what I'm talking about, baby. To Mark's comment, if you had a concern about the IQU, would be that low RG on urethane. How many lower RG urethanes have been widely successful? I think that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to remember, though, the reason for the stronger core is because the 78 does not grab the lane. So the bigger engine has to be in that ball to get it to rev up like a 73 or a 68 purple or a 73 pitch black, whatever you want to call them. You got to have that extra engine in there.
Because we were talking about that just yesterday or the day before. Whenever that announcement came out, we were seeing how the numbers compared to, I think, the blue or the purple or pitch or whatever. And it was pitch versus IQ. And the differential was higher. The RG was lower.
You got to remember, it's they're putting it out there just because, that 78 rule is really going to make a huge difference. So they need that to be in there. I mean, to be honest with you, they've been making that IQ overseas ball for like a year, I think. And if they
at that hardness though,
no, but if they really get softer, they're going to have a ball that's very similar. And I believe that ball was widely popular over there, because I see a lot of guys who threw it. So we'll have to see what happens over time if they really get softer or not. I guess Brunswick kind of used the same story as Storm did, where, I don't know if it was the same story. It was a very similar thing with the durometers. It seems like the durometer testing by the ball manufacturers, not by the ball manufacturers, but the whole system itself of how they test, they don't seem to care for, because they said we took our purple hammers, we punched a hole in it and we got the legal limit, and then we put oil like down the lane or something, and we threw the ball once, and then we re-durometered it, and it came back underneath because the needle then gets lubricated and presses through the material easier.
Interesting.
So not only did Storm say, well, after you puncture through once, I don't know if resin doesn't change that much, but typically it was their polish balls, and they said that the polish made it different because the needle got softer, or it was easier to go through.
They're saying the actual cover was causing less friction in the needle, something like that.
Yeah,
the polish is what the Storm issue was the polish.
Yeah, they said the polish.
Yeah, but they said
it
had something to do with the tip of the durometer getting covered
and then it went not enough friction to or a lot of friction, excuse me,
to go in farther.
Less friction caused the needle to go more
because it had
deep.
Because technically it was lubricated by the polish or something. They're saying the same thing with the purples when oil went down the lane. If you tested them after, and because urethane doesn't soak in the oils, you couldn't really necessarily get all of it off, I would assume. So the needle would always make it softer because the needle was lubricated. So this isn't the first time.
They probably get a lot more consistent readings off of resin than
Well,
they
yes.
do with the urethane, where when you punch it, whatever it is 10 or 12 times that you have to do it around the ball. If it's that many, I can't remember, but what the official testing is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But
I did bash Storm pretty good for their kind of lackluster
response.
But I mean,
I think it's high luster with all that polish.
Wow. I do
jokes for days.
I don't know if I believe in that. I don't know if the guys are just defending.
Kids?
I just don't know if they're defending their product or what.
Right.
I'm not jumping on either bandwagon. I don't think either reply is valid.
All right, so
what are some of the biggest flops we've got?
Yes, we got to get to the flops. I went to Art Hoffman. Been drilling balls for longer than we've been alive. And he gave me a list of some balls that were he thinks some of the bigger flops, because he sold stuff obviously as a pro shop operator.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, what did I say? He got Brunswick Phantom. You guys ever use Brunswick Phantom?
My father loved his Phantom.
I did actually use a Phantom, but it was the remake.
No, that doesn't count.
You asked, and it was called Phantom, and it was a remake. So
the LT51 was a big flop, I guess.
I mean, think about it. When you think LT48, that's what I'm saying.
Huge,
you don't think. Did you know they made an LT51? No, that must have been bad. I mean, geez, we don't talk about that one anymore. So obviously, okay, LT51.
The AMF XS, which was the white ball.
The white one, yeah. Yeah. What did he say about that ball?
So he said that it was a huge seller, and then immediately after that, they would bowl after 12 games. Ball lost its reaction.
The sauce.
Yeah, so it dropped off big time. Then we got. He said the hammer, ratchet, and wrench.
I had one of those. I think maybe that was like
if you did,
prior.
A ratchet.
I thought I had a ratchet, but I don't know if he's referring to like the 2007 ratchet.
Juniors?
Yeah, 2007 ratchet or something earlier than that.
What about you guys?
Biggest flops for me? Go ahead.
Well, I have two, and they're both pink. Pink urethane and the pink hammer.
Pink Widow?
Pink Widow,
yeah.
So both Pink Widows.
I was not a fan of the pink urethane at all. Although, hold on a second. Some people like the Pink Widow.
Now, hold on a second. Artie's talking about flops that stopped hooking. You were talking flop is a seller. So the Pink Widow.
Yeah, but it sold for a minute. No, the white ball sold for a minute.
I'm just saying.
And then dropped off. Because they found out.
A good one.
Go ahead.
The Mission 2.0.
My dad might have the
orange one.
Mission.
The original Mission was sick.
He might still have one.
The red one. I think it was all red. That ball was sick. The 2.0 was dog crap.
He had the 2.0 too. That was the orange one. He liked that one.
Don Amiot, AMF AM Forces.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, we're gonna have to look that one up, Don.
Pizza Wings agrees. Pink urethane is garbage.
The pink urethane was good when there was a ton of oil.
Michael Polkey, plastic balls are cheaper.
I'm trying to think. For me, I don't really. I mean, I had a mutant cell. They were supposed to be the hottest thing, and then they stopped selling. And my ball stopped hooking after 10 games.
I got another one.
The original
Gravity
phase.
Evolve.
Ooh,
I really do not like that ball.
The original phase never sold.
No, I don't even remember it.
That ball. I mean, the people who had it liked it, but it never sold. And I can't believe the phase 2 has become what it is today with the phase being old.
Golf Doggy 72. He agrees with Artie.
AMF
XS white ball. That was the other reason, is that it got so dirty.
Yeah.
That, and like Mark said, he said the same thing. It got so dirty.
The eruption.
That was a big ball, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I know Columbia Eruption. I thought that was a decent one. Zen U. That's an interesting one. I think that ball was, I mean, that's an interesting one. Don said there were 4 AM Forces, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all terrible.
AM Force 4, purple. Couldn't even get a good shot of it. It's blurry.
Well, okay, there we go. We're definitely seeing some stuff come out. Zen U, I think the Zen U was a flop.
Yeah, I don't see anybody using it really.
It's actually already discontinued.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gone already.
Well, why would they want to make another urethane ball that's not allowed on tour?
They'll come out with the Zen 78. I'm personally, I am hoping that Brunswick comes out with a 78 urethane ball because I'd still like to have the urethane ball in there, no matter what.
I'll tell you one that no one's probably going to think of, except that I can't remember if I got my first 300 back in high school with this one, but I had it. I've never seen anyone throw it. The magenta-ish Brunswick Power Blitz. Do you even know what that is? I'm pretty sure I was the only one around here to throw that ball. I mean, maybe a couple others, but yeah, that was it worked. I was in school, but yeah, it wasn't a great ball.
Skate Geezer said the Inferno stopped hooking. So
Yes. Oh, that's right. I remember that. I had an Inferno.
Seems like you get all the bus, so I'll buy whatever you don't.
You're the one that's selling me balls now. Yeah, I had an Inferno, and it did. It quit after a little while. It gave up. I don't remember how long. That was a long time ago. But the Inferno is how I made my first finals appearance. Not finals, but match play appearance for the Huck Finn tournaments around here. That was
15, they had a good line though. They had the smoking, the absolute,
18 years ago.
The regular, the scorching. I mean, that was
that was a huge. Oh, the other Inferno. This is not a flop, but that I had at the smoking Inferno.
Yeah,
that one I liked. That one I liked.
The light brown black one, right?
No, the scorching it was grayish and black and white. Like it looked like flames through the whole ball.
I think so. Yeah.
And not a big popular ball, I don't think, but it rolled pretty good. I thought.
I think. I'm trying to think. I thought they did like the one back before Brunswick did the one. They did another one where it was like they had a promotion for it and that ball
after the original one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. After the big one, after all those, they tried to do it a few years ago. And if you got a ticket, like kind of like Willy Wonka in your box, I'm pretty sure you got like a gold one. And they tried to like bring it back, and I don't think anybody bought that ball. No. I don't know if that ball was any good, but I never saw anybody throw it.
The original one I remember like way back when, and this is not talking flops now, but
Black Track.
It was a wild to watch because the people that got it, it was insane. Like it would skid so fast and flip so hard.
Which one?
The original one back in the day. But then just like the AMF XS, just in comparison, it was dead so fast. Like it did not last very long after a bunch of games.
I'm trying to think of any hammer balls that weren't great. I can't really think of any.
Except the ratchet and the wrench.
The ratchet and the wrench, but what else? I mean, everything else has been pretty good.
I think the Black Widow's pretty crappy. Just kidding.
It's aggressive. That was pretty good.
Probably one of the best balls that people like to use.
The core is probably, they had the Taboo line with it. They had that ball. The Defiant series. Tyler Drexel didn't like the Defiant series. That's funny because the gem now has a Defiant core in it, and it seems to be a pretty good seller, believe it or not. So you didn't like that one. I didn't like the Mutant Cell. What else haven't I liked? That's a flop. I mean, they're not really flops. They're just balls I don't like at this point.
I'll tell you what was a flop. Crap. Oh, the Zen.
Wow.
Personally, that ball was terrible.
The original Zen.
Yeah. I know everybody loves the Zen, but
I mean, Mark, Taylor, and I were talking about the other day. It came out like wildfires. The pros still used it, but it seems like some of the local guys got away from them.
Slim says the Ebonite Cyclone.
Wow. The Cyclone. That was I think it was like a red and orange one. They had black and brown, red and orange. Yeah, it was an interesting ball. It kind of sold for a bit, and then I think it petered out. I remember that one. Man, that had to be 2014. No, it had to be when I was 14. So that's like 2007.
I can barely remember my own equipment that I have currently. The Paragon wasn't very good either. Or what did I? No, I got the original Paragon, right?
Yeah, you got a Paragon, but we drilled it like with a
half-inch
pin.
No, what's the blue track that I'm thinking of then? Not the Paragon. I didn't hit the Paragon.
You got the Paragon Hybrid.
That's what it was. That ball didn't roll very good either.
Really? You didn't like that one?
No. Did nothing. I've never used it.
Maybe you should try it on the house shop. Never did anything. Maybe you'll be able to play a little bit more and score better, a little straighter.
Yeah, sure. Something with more surface would get me further from the right side of the lane.
Slim, I'm sorry. I didn't want to make you feel. I think if that's the right Cyclone, Sorry, Tyler Drexel. The Iron Forge isn't good. I watched a video on that today. The Iron Forge is way weaker than any ball in their lineup. So when I told you it was good for the burn, it looks like it will be good for the burn.
Before we go, how about we talk about this? Companies, 2 that come to mind. Lane 1, which was like super popular for the probably back in 2006, 2008, maybe up to 2010. They had the buzz saws and stuff, and then they had the one that was illegal. I can't remember what that one was called. The El Nino. You forgot the tilde over the end.
I'm sure it's hard to find a tilde on this thing.
So anyway, lane 1, and then what was your dad, who absolutely loved this ball, but I don't think they're around anymore, was the Yeah Baby.
Yeah, but he's got baby. It's on his shelf.
It's on
still.
the shelf.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was the biggest thing. Art Van Buren throwing strikes, running up and down. Art, I got a bone to pick with you now because you yell at me and Nick for being loud, and then you go throw the Yeah Baby, and what do you hear all night long? Yeah Baby! Like all night through the whole bowling alley. It just came. Oh my God, I got flashbacks now. Oh, I'm talking to you later, Art. So anyway, what was that? Lane Masters? What the heck was that thing?
I think it was Lane Masters.
And they're still around, kind of. Because they're California now, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, El Nino's coming back this winter. Yeah, I know. We have an El Nino. I thought we had a La Nina. I can't remember. Also, another quick little point. Everybody says how many bowling balls are coming out nowadays. They actually gave us like a list. 2017, there was 127 balls being released
throughout the whole year.
Yeah, from all the brands.
How is it doing in 2022 and 23?
2022, 2023. There's an asterisk there because the, Brunswick doesn't know what the competitors are doing. Currently, there's only 53.
For the whole year, and we're almost to Christmas time.
Yes. So there's 127 in 2017. From all the brands across the board, they have whittled it down to 53. Brunswick does 6 basically per brand, maybe a few extras. Storm does about, I think it was like 6 or 7. Motive does 10 to 12.
For the whole year.
For the whole year.
Wow.
So everybody who says that there's a lot of bowling balls coming out, there's actually 30% less bowling balls coming out than there was in 2017. And before that, it was also very high. So
that's
it's been on the downtrend.
Incredible. Wow. But they've also had a lot more. It seems like there's been, what I'm seeing now. Like
I love that right there. 5 300s against Jacko.
Using an illegal surface, by the way, that particles not legal anymore.
Really?
Isn't it? I thought that they changed it to take the particles out.
Oh, I don't know.
But what I was about to get to real quick before we go is, again, I'm looking at 3 balls right here, right? The Game Breaker 2, Game Breaker 4 Pearl, and Game Breaker 4 Hybrid. It seems like when companies have a successful ball, Phase 2, IQ, Hammer's got the Black Widow.
Melee jabs.
There's
the melees have been out for years and years,
right,
since a long time ago.
It seems like they're holding on to the ones that work, which makes sense.
Well, I'm glad they do. Personally, for me, the knockouts are not good, so I opt for the Game Breakers. But there are bowling balls that are very similar all year. So yes, staggered release dates. Yeah, it's tough with the release dates because we did get into this too. Brunswick likes to have a 6 week period so they can start to Mark, yes, it is. It seems more, but it's not. Hammer might have 8 and Brunswick might have 7. The rest are 6. But overall for the whole year it's like 50 or something. Maybe it's just them that they were producing because maybe it was an interesting conversation. But yeah, the releases were also something that we chatted about because Brunswick allows 6 weeks prior. So we get one every 28 days, roughly, a release. But that gives time for social media to do its work, let people know the balls are coming out, and it gives 2 to 3 weeks for shipping to get to distributors, as well as let the distributors make their order. So even though the releases are kind of not at the right time, in terms of why they do it, logistically, it makes sense. It's not my favorite. But yeah, that is truth. They went over that the other day. You can go through their lineups. Most of the brands get at least 6 a year. So
all right, well, this has been a very talkative show. Thanks, guys, for chatting with us tonight, because that was made it a lot more fun, I think. But it is time for us to go bowling. Stop touching me.
You sweating today or what?
Always sweating in here.
Sweating?
It's a
I have a
gosh darn furnace. So yeah, it is time for us to go bowling. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And I didn't mention this earlier. Check out the Etsy shop where you can get some of our shirts and whatnot. Lefty love, Will Bowl for food, and I'm here for the Thane Bang.
Pizza wings, left to love.
So, anything else? If you don't watch on YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. And while you're doing that, please give us a 5-star review. Now, thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes, for having us in here every week. Austin Van Buren, excellent show tonight. Thank you, Anthony, for sitting in.
Guest on week number how many?
8. This is episode 8 for season number 4.
Guest for the 8th consecutive week.
Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jam bread.
And we will see you guys next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.